Many of you may not know this, but I had been roaming from forests to forests in search of divine truth. I still carry my smartphone with me as I can't live without talking to my best friend Hyde. After 5 years of rigorous meditation, I became enlightened just like Gautama Buddha-chan. So I decided to return back to my hometown to greet my family members and my best friend Hyde, and also because I have f***ing homework to complete. So anyways, after reaching home and being warmly greeted by my family, and after realizing that half of them were dead since I left home, I decided to go to Hyde's house. So I called him. He picked up my call and said, I said, He replied, Basically, he told me that he wanted to see me too, just in introvert language. So I reached his house and we had a great chat. He was happy on hearing the news about my enlightenment, and taking this opportunity, he asked me that one question which Western philosophers and 14-year-old chicks had jerked off to for centuries. He asked me, "What is existence?" I paused for a while and said, "A property which your d doesn't have." He was silent at first, but then he suddenly shouted, "You f***ing by f***ing the ass, mate," in a weird Australian accent. After looking at him with a confused gaze, I replied, "Homo." Just as he was about to kick me out of his house, I said, "How can you know if something exists or doesn't?" He said, "Well, if it exists, it exists. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't." I replied, "Then with your logic, existence is simply the state of being." He replied, "Well, yeah." I said, "But still, how do we know what is and what isn't?" He said, "Well, stars exist, molecules exist, we exist." I replied, "If that is your answer, then your question should have been, what doesn't exist?" He replied, "I don't know. Since existence is infinite, does it mean that anything which can exist will exist?" I replied, "Yeah." He said, "Then if nothing doesn't exist, then what is the point of using the term existence? If there is no darkness, the term light loses its significance." I replied, "Yeah." He said, "Then why does everything exist? What was the need of this whole set of infinite things to exist in the first place?" It was at this point I rose up and said, "Because nothing really exists." He was utterly confused, and just when he was trying to flee to the other room, to smoke some weed of course, I stopped him, beat his ass, tied his mouth with his shirt, and locked the door. And then proceeded to say calmly, "Since existence is infinite, anything which can exist will exist. And we know stars, galaxies, black holes, my d***, your d***, to female audiences, I'm sorry, I mean your vagina, because gender equality. So every single thing which exists is but a finite existence out of infinite existences, meaning every single thing which exists has no existence when compared to the set of infinite existence. Take it like this. You hack a game, and now you have infinite gems to spend. Now, even if you spend 20 gems, 100 gems, 10,000 gems in the game, then also you would have infinite gems left, which is equivalent to saying that you spent nothing out of the total amount of gems you had in the first place. Same way, since existence has no limits, since the universe is infinite, every finite thing which constitutes this whole universe simply doesn't exist. In simpler words, since existence is infinite, and since infinity is constituted by infinite number of finite parts, these finite parts, which make up this whole set of infinite existence, have no existence of their own. And therefore, everything exists, but nothing exists at the same time. Now go smoke your weed.